Hello and welcome. This is the first of a couple of videos to document a seminar series we did at TDCS labeled Air Defense and Suppression. My name is Bishop, or Professor, over at TDCS, and I'm one of our instructors, mission makers, and a proud citizen of General Chat. This video aims to establish some preliminaries so we don't have to cover them every time, hence it should be fairly short. So the intent with the seminar series is, to strengthen the community's foundational understanding of air defense systems as modeled in DCS. So we're not uninterested in how they work in real life, but remember that we are talking as they are. We'll leave it at that for now. We'll come back to this. So just strengthen the community's foundational understanding of how these work in DCS. Explore the practical consequences of this modeling. So given how they are modeled, what does that mean for us, basically? Discuss interesting ways to represent air defense systems in DCS. So this is maybe more towards the mission maker side. And explore and develop viable techniques, tactics, and procedures for the suppression of such systems. Obviously, there exists real-world applications of this. We may or may not have access to those. So we are mostly, or we are only talking about DCS-centric applications here. And why would you want to do this? Well, because it will enable interesting mission and threat design to just make better content for us. It hopefully will foster competent defense suppression pilots. Hopefully people will find that this is the sort of wheelhouse that they want to get really good in, and they will go out and practice that and inspire further testing, research, and TTP development. You will notice that a lot of this is just sort of trial and error and hanging out in the mission editor for way too long and trying to figure out how is this stuff actually working, and that takes some time, and I wasn't able to figure all of this out, and I had to stand on the shoulders of some other people, some giants, to even get this far. So hopefully this will inspire more people to do more testing, so we can compare notes. So the sources, there are some real-world open source material. I certainly don't have access to anything other than open source stuff, so don't worry about that. This comes in the form of articles, interviews, declassified field manuals, etc. One or two biographies possibly as well. Of special note is asairpower.net, where you can find very, very nerdy engineering data on many SAM systems. And the 10% True podcast, their Discord, and all the related SMEs that hang out there and share what they can, which has been very helpful. On the DCS side, it's a lot of experimentation, just playing around in the mission editor, observing AI behavior and trying to figure out what they're doing. Change logs, sometimes changes are documented, sometimes they're not, and just trying to figure out when did behaviors change and in what way. And of course, script documentation, both for the DCS API and for things like the Skynet IADs for Moose, Mantis, just trying to figure out how the different solutions that exist right now, what are they doing at the moment. Of note here, the Quaggle's data mine project, like this is, I've dug around in those Lua files an immense amount. It would not have been possible to gather all this together without that. And also the Airgoons DCS reference, which I don't think is being updated anymore. The SA5 at least seems to be added after this, or the data isn't updated. But this was one of the starting points that got me interested in really digging into this. So thanks to that. And of course, these are of note. There are many other that I don't remember off the top of my head. A lot of this is drawing from material someone else worked on, just to be clear. So a quick note on terminology. In the CS communities, people tend to say they're gonna do cap when they mean they're just going out to do air-to-air. Not all air-to-air is cap. Also, and this as a ground pounder, this irks me more, people say they're doing CAS when they're just dropping bombs. This is not the same rant end. We are gonna be working from a definition of defense suppression, which is inspired by the real life manuals, but not necessarily quoting them. But we're going to be working from the definition that defense suppression is to neutralize, destroy, or degrade enemy ground-based air defenses in a specific area for a specific time by kinetic or electronic attack. So, in layman's terms, to blow up, or make bad their defenses that are on the ground and shooting at air things in a specific area. Not everywhere, just where we need it, when we need it. By blowing up or jamming. Defense suppression is a part of offensive counter-air, which is offensive action to achieve and or maintain control of airspace. It's probably more achieve. Someone who knows the proper definition can keep it to themselves. I don't care. Yes, I do. Anyways, so offensive counter-air is defense suppression. It is fighter sweep and escort. CAP is on the defensive counter-air side, and they need to be dealt with. Defense suppression deals with the ground-based air defenses. And then, of course, you can also do airfield attack to make sure that the enemy CAP and others can't. Aircraft are much easier to hit when they are static on the ground. These, again, they are not, like, don't at me the actual definitions. I can find them on my own. This is just so we have DCS starting point. Okay. Anyways. A further note on realisms. DCS is not realistic. Get that out of your head. It is not like we do not have a full physics simulation. We will never have it. It is not a reasonable goal to ask for. So drop that. And also, details about modern e-war capabilities are highly classified. People on the internet who tell you that they totally know how this works and they're gonna tell you how it works are lying or committing very serious crimes. One of the two. Okay, so like we don't know. We won't be told. We can infer, we can guess, we can do very, very good guesses. That's fair, but like we don't know. Older systems have much more declassified information available. OSAirpower.net. Check it out. It's really cool. But we do not have the physics simulation or the asset availability to DCS is very limited in these regards. Sometimes people will complain that the SA2 is too good because in Vietnam, blah, blah, blah. The SA2 we have in DCS is not the SA2s that were in Vietnam. So asset availability, it doesn't matter if we get a Vietnam map. You do not have the correct SA2. We have what we have. We will work within those limitations. But also, since we don't know how the modern capabilities work, and we don't have the physics to do it properly anyways, we will simply treat the capabilities that are present in our aircraft modules. We will treat those as a baseline. So if we think that a surface-to-air missile system has some sort of data link, we will assume that it would be realistic for, like, we will give it the same capabilities as data link in player modules have. So this is a screenshot from Hornet radar page. I do not know. I think this is before the updates that have been done recently, but either way, you can all see that this is not a radar track. This is a data link track, and the information I am getting as the Hornet pilot here is speed, altitude, the band that I would be scanning if I activated my radar here, and the bearing range from my position. If I was a SAM commander instead, if I'm sitting in my SA-8 or whatever, I am not shooting an SA-8 at 40 miles, but you understand what I mean. Obviously, if this is the information presented to me on my currently not emitting system, then it's quite reasonable to say that the second I turn on my emitter, I can start locking this guy. There should be basically a zero delay between the search and once my track radar gets hold of this guy. If this is an accurate track, which is this, because in DCS we don't have jamming properly, blah blah blah. So we will assume that if we infer that, yeah, okay, so this SAM, we will treat it as if it has some data link capability. This is probably like the level we should expect. When it comes to radar performance, then we expect it to be proportional to size of the radar array and the era of its manufacture. A newer radar should be better, and a bigger radar should be better. For comparison, this is the relative size of the APG-70 in the F-15E to the MPQ-53 search track radar on the Patriot, to the 30N6E on the flaplet, so the track radar for the SA-10 in-game. Bigger radar better. Ground-based radars do not have weight restrictions the way airborne radars have. They can be, you can have a truck and mount your radar on. You can have a trailer and mark your radar on. You cannot fly your trailer or truck. Therefore, yes, we should expect SAM radars to be much more capable than airborne radars. This is just, you can disagree with this. It is fine. Just understand that the seminar is using this as baseline. Scope. We are emphasizing vanilla DCS 2.9 context, because that just happened to be the version when the seminar was held. We will not go into all the really cool and wonderful mods that are out there. It is already too much to cover. So we will focus on this, because that's the baseline that then others can build upon. That would be great. This include physics, like what are the physics in vanilla DCS, capabilities of the systems, the assets present, naming conventions, etc. So when I say an SA2, I mean the one in DCS, which I think is an SA2F or E or some, whatever version of the fan song it has. But we will just, if I say SA3, the one in DCS, not the millions of versions. We will focus on foundational principles over system specifics. We might do a system specific one where we go through, some more, go through all the systems in DCS. That would be fun. It is not done yet. It might not happen. But the point is that we use a limited selection of systems as examples in the seminars. And, different seminars will use different examples to get some coverage. That is the point. And that is it for this preliminary. The original seminars were 3 in number. They were held over the course of 2024. And the first one covered how air defenses seem to be modeled in DCS and what is going on under the hood, so to speak. And as you probably noticed by now, we are mostly talking radar-guided SAMs here. It should carry over to other air defense systems, but they are, we had to narrow it down to something. The second and third seminar covered some examples of real-life tactics used by defense suppression aircrew and their SAM commander opponents, and then evaluating how effective they might be in the DCS environment. The second one focused on the aircrew, and the third on the SAM commanders. That is it for now, and I hope to see you on the next one.